Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. As you can see from the hat, it's right around Christmas time, and this is kind of the time where thieves and desperate people come out. So I've been noticing a lot of vehicles getting stolen lately, and I wanted to do this video to kind of share some of my tips for you guys to kind of prevent it from happening. I know if this ever happened to me, I'd be super sad because I've got a lot of time and money invested into my vehicle, and I definitely don't want to do all of that again. And most likely the insurance company's not going to cover all of that stuff. So yeah, let's get right into the video and I'll show you some of my tips. Alright guys, I wanted to share with you guys my vehicle first. As you can see, I've got a lot of mods in here, winches and all kinds of stuff, bumpers. Got these sweet TRD Pro rims. Alright, the first method I have for you guys is, obviously you can see my vehicle is parked in the garage. So if you guys have a garage or access to some kind of covered space, I suggest you put your vehicle in there. This is the safest place for it. It's on your property, and people really can't get through the garage unless, I don't know, unless they have your code or something. So I highly suggest you put it in here as long as you can. I don't drive my vehicle that much. I do on the weekends and Fridays to work. Even then, I'm paranoid parking it in the parking lot. But other than that, it lives in here. All right, guys, the second method I use to prevent my vehicle from getting stolen is buying an alarm. And so I have a Python something alarm, 5706P or something like that. I can't remember the exact model number. I'll link it if you guys are interested, but really any kind of alarm will work. So the thing about alarms is they have a built-in kill switch when you arm the vehicle. So when you arm this vehicle right now, even if you were in the vehicle and you try to start the vehicle, it wouldn't allow you to, because that starter relay has kind of been spliced into by the alarm. And it kind of prevents the car from starting, because the alarm is basically saying, don't bridge those connections. So even if someone were to sit in there and try to start it right now, and I'll show you in a second, it actually wouldn't work. And also, another preventative thing that the alarm does is, people will sometimes rip apart your fender right here because they know a lot of the wiring goes through there, and try to find like your horn wire, and they'll cut your horn wire, right? So that way they have more time. And what they'll end up doing is they'll cut the horn wire, and also the cable that for the hood latch is here as well. At least I don't know about this car, but a lot of those old Hondas that I used to back in the days, people would get vice grips, pull that hood cable and release the hood. And then what they would do is open the hood and then disconnect the battery, and then reconnect the battery. Now better alarms will actually, once you reconnect the battery, it will automatically fire off the siren and rearm the alarm, because it knows that that is not a normal state usually, and so usually a thief is doing that. And so actually you'll be still safe in that scenario. But some of the cheaper alarms I've seen don't do that, and what ends up happening is that's their way to disable your alarm. So I'll show you right now that you cannot start this vehicle with the alarm armed. You can see it's armed right now. Let me hop in and show you guys. All right guys, so it's not armed right now, but I'm gonna arm it. Okay, so you can see here, I'm gonna try to put the key in. And you can see turning it will not start. So yeah, that's a nice safety feature there. Doesn't matter how hard you try, you can't start it. And one of the nice things about this alarm is it actually alerts me that something's happening, or at least saves the event. This is kind of one of the nicer two-way alarms. So yeah, that's kind of a nice feature. All right guys, here's the next theft-proof method, and that is to buy a 5-speed manual transmission, or any kind of manual transmission. Just because most people don't know how to drive a manual means that they're not going to attempt to steal it. Obviously I have an automatic transmission here, so it doesn't apply to me, but if you're thinking about getting a vehicle, you may want to consider getting a 5-speed. Most people they will just keep stalling and just not understand how to drive the vehicle at all. So One other thing I wanted to point out, and that's why I'm in here, is a lot of people suggest putting the transfer case in neutral. You can see here it's got gears and you can stick it in neutral. Now, I tried this with an automatic and I would definitely not suggest you do that because it will grind your gears when you try to go to park. So I suggest you don't do this method. I think it probably works for 5 speeds, and 5 speeds are already 5 speeds, so it kind of defeats the purpose. But one thing you can do is you can shift this into neutral, and what that will do is when you try to go to drive or reverse, it won't go anywhere because the transfer case is in neutral, so it's not engaging any of the drive shafts. If you are really in a really sketchy part of the town or something like that and you really wanted to do that, you could probably leave it in neutral, turn off the engine so that it doesn't spin anymore, and then pull it to park. You just have to remember to put it back in neutral and put everything back to H2 here for daily driving. So you can try that, and that might work. But just fair warning that it will grind. So I grinded a couple teeth earlier. I don't know if that destroyed anything, but hey, it's all for you guys. So hopefully your vehicles don't get stolen. All right, guys. The next tip is I don't actually have a club with me. I actually do have one, but I don't know where it is. But you can see how the steering wheel is locked, and it kind of is related to that. But you can buy a club, and it's pretty old school, but it still works, and you can lock it to your brake pedal down there, and that basically prevents the steering wheel from turning and also prevents them from braking. And I'm sure there are ways around the club, but the idea here is to kind of give your vehicle a chance. If somebody is looking inside and they're trying to see if you have anything, and obviously I have a pretty big head unit there, it's eye-catching, but you have an alarm, you have a club, and if it's in the garage, obviously they can't take it, but the more things you have, the better. All right, guys, my last theft deterrent device is actually a manual kill switch. So I'm not going to show you where my kill switch is. Maybe I will in another video. Actually, I will have another video on how to install a kill switch in this vehicle specifically. A kill switch is kind of up to you, your creativity, and kind of where you want to hide it. Some people hide in the glove box, which is weird because everybody looks there. But the idea around a kill switch is you can kill power, similar to an alarm, how it kills the crank. But you can kill power to like the fuel pump and basically prevent the vehicle from starting. And so that's kind of what I did here, and I'll show you how it works. So I already initiated my kill switch, and you can see here. So it'll start because there's still some gas in the engine or in the fuel lines, and so, but you can see here it's going to keep trying and keep trying, and usually the thief's going to give up and just think that maybe the battery's dead or something, or it's just taking too much effort, and so they'll just kind of give up. And one nice thing about this method is that it doesn't feel like something is weird, something weird is going on, because it actually did start for a little bit there and then died. They could have just thought the gas was out, and maybe they're stealing a car that has no gas. I don't know. But anyways, there's no way they're going to get anywhere until maybe they know that you have a kill switch. They'll have to find your kill switch, right? They can't go anywhere until they actually find it, and maybe they won't spend that time. Now, your CD player or your head unit may get stolen, and maybe your speakers in the back if you have any, but at least your vehicle won't get stolen. So you still have your suspension parts, you still have all your god-awful expensive King suspension. I don't know what you guys have, but it prevents that stuff from getting stolen. Alright guys, so those are a bunch of tips that I thought I'd share with you guys. I know some of them cost money, some of them require work, some of them, you may not even have an option, right? But what I normally do when I go out is I will, usually park in a high visible area or location. If I see a camera, I'll park there, or I'll park around nicer cars so that they won't target mine. But yeah, usually I'll arm my alarm, and then I'll arm my kill switch, and then I'll kind of go in and be peaceful about my day, knowing that I'll come out and hopefully my vehicle will be there. Now, there is one last kind of thief, and this is probably the worst one that I don't really know how to fight against, and that is the tow truck thief. And so these people, you know, they don't even bother with starting your vehicle. They don't even try to hotwire your car or whatever. They will literally just roll up in a tow truck, just like the repo man will, and take your whole truck, put it on a flatbed, drive it off. So I don't really know how you kind of prevent that from happening. You know, if that ever happens to you, it probably means you have like a ton of expensive stuff on your vehicle, like I mentioned earlier, King suspensions or something like that. And they really want that stuff so they can sell it, right? I mean, really the only way to combat against that is to leave your vehicle at home in the garage, unfortunately. But yeah, there are those kinds of people out there. I mean, they will take your vehicle into a chop shop and literally strip that thing down to nothing. You know, hopefully your alarm goes off, you know, while they're doing all of this, because that'll kind of prevent it maybe a little bit. But again, I mean, those guys are pros. They know where the horn wires are. They know pretty much where everything is. They can just cut all that stuff and just load it really quickly. And they may even look like repossession folks, you know. So people are getting a little creative these days. The thieves aren't the common thieves you're used to, you know, where they don't know much. These are actually people that, you know, they may even have clones of your keys, and they may have like, you know, if you have a transponder system or a mobilizer system, they may already have the codes, you know, which is kind of scary. So, all right, guys, that's kind of the end of the video. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. And like I mentioned, I probably will make a kill switch video, so be on the lookout for that. But it'll probably be a little bit later. So, you know, have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in the new year.